Welcome to Fratelli di Rugby Podcast, the English-speaking Italian rugby podcast.
You are listening Fratelli di Rugby Podcast. Enjoy.
Hello.
Ciao.
Buongiorno, buonasera. Welcome, everyone.
Ooh.
Marcello, Mike, nice to see you for the third week in a row unbeaten.
That's
Nice.
got a nice
Make
sound,
the change.
doesn't it?
Man, we have to count it. Sometimes happen, and it's really important for us, I think. To
Oh,
You
push
know,
on the line.
our record in Cardiff is better than Rome.
Can you believe that?
For now.
For now,
Yeah,
yeah,
for
of
now.
course.
We've got 3 games
Okay.
next year.
New podcast. Last week we were live on Sunday. We decided to go back on our classic Monday because we had a rough, tough weekend for our livers, I think, and for our heart, our nerves. How did you feel this week, Saturday, when we were 18 up?
it was
God,
weird,
watch it.
wasn't it? It was. I think generally I went into the game. I wasn't nervous actually. I mean, our WhatsApp group is kind of 24/7, and a lot of the pre-match chat was, "How nervous are you all? You know, how are you all feeling?" And I didn't want to say it because I don't like to tempt fate, but I actually went into that game feeling pretty confident. There was nothing that scared me about playing Wales. It wasn't I think it was just the idea that we were favourites and we've shown in the past that maybe we don't handle that all that well. But after the first sort of 10, 15 minutes, we settled into the game and we controlled it for, I'd say there was a period of maybe 10 minutes when I thought we'd sort of lost control. Otherwise, for 70 minutes, we were organised, we played in the right areas of the pitch, we scored nice tries, we were clinical, we were effective in defence. I was easy, man.
Well, sounds easy, not for us, but for once, yes, was like something that happened to us.
Yeah.
Actually, to the other team that play against us, usually they can manage the game. If they score a couple of tries, no matter, because the result it's safe, no? So yeah, a weird feelings. Mike,
Yeah.
did you watch the game? Where you've been during the game?
Yeah. Mine was like polar opposite. Even when we were 2 tries, and honestly, I was a ball of nerves, right? Even when we were 2 full converted scores up, I was like still sweating. My mates were like, "Boy, it's the 75th minute. You've won this game." I'm like, "I'm an Italian fan, right? I know we've been
You
here
don't know what's
before.
enough.
we never get
Right.
we never get anything for free." So yeah, no, I similar to you, March. I think like there's always the second week, you know, after having a really successful week where we have to back it up, and we haven't been able to do that, but we've done it twice on the trot, which is uncharted waters for us. So yeah, man, loved it. I was in Teddington, in a pub, actually Teddington Arms in Teddington the whole
day.
The whole day, yeah.
Whoa, big man.
So yeah, it was. It's been an interesting weekend for me, my boys.
Well, I was in a park in the woods, let's say, with my daughter, some other little girls all together. So I have a couple of pictures of me like on the side with my phone on, watching the games while the kids were playing. Like I was focusing there. Yeah, priorities. But at the end, no, I was nice to see how we push our style of play, our style of defense. I can add to that. So yeah, I was like relieved every time we win. In general, I always feel like everything is nice, the best piece in the world. That kind of feelings, like that is the feeling. I'm not like crazy. I don't go crazy, but man, I was really happy ero felice, proprio felice, I feel.
You know what? The real worry for me for about 10 seconds was when on the commentary they said if Wales score with this last play, they'll avoid the wooden spoon. I looked at Mum looked at me, and I looked at Dad, and I thought, hang on a second, what's all this about? Have I missed something here? They scored the try. Mum's screaming, thinking, "Oh my God, we've somehow managed to get the wooden spoon, even though we've won." And I was sat there thinking, "No, that can't be right. That can't be right." And then all of a sudden, Cotter then says, "Oh no, I've got my maths wrong. Sorry, apologies for all that." And I was like, "Good God."
Crazy.
I mean, he got it seriously wrong, right? Because we needed a bonus point to avoid the wooden spoon, so they would have had.
It was good,
and they would have had to have beaten us by 11 points. So it's like it's getting your maths wrong, and then just being like completely off the mark. If that try was worth 21 points, then they would have beaten us.
2021. Let's see. What a Saturday, said Andy Rosa on YouTube. We are live on YouTube and Twitter. Unbeatable Beneddu. Quesada is what has happened. Fate largo che passiamo noi sti giovanotti d'esta Roma bella. Andy sings Roman folkloristic song, which is nice. Brax and Menocello. Such a vital partnership. Shall we start from them? Because I see there is Phantom in the chat too.
Evening,
Brax
Phantom.
and Menocello. Brax and Menocello, we have to say a lot of stuff about the players. We're gonna speak more in general about the campaign later on during the next weeks too. But for now, Brax and Menocello.
Got much after you, mate.
Brax and Menocello. Brexoncello.
Brexoncello, the best centre partnership in the tournament, and I want to say best in the world, but that sounds like me just getting carried away. But I think the fact that we're even talking about those two in that sort of bracket is the best thing about this, is that we've, I think for a long time people have spoken about Paris, Castel Giovanni in sort of smaller parts as well. But other than that, it doesn't feel like we've ever really had sort of world-class stars in our team, and we now absolutely, Brex is a bit older, but in Menoncello we have a 21-year-old who just looks like he's just going to get better and better and better, and that's a scary prospect for the whole of World Rugby to consider. This man is still only 21 years old. Brex has just been phenomenal, and we saw it in bits for Benetton before the tournament, and he's just carried that into it. And what could have been at that World Cup? I know everyone talks about the World Cup in terms of how bad Italy were in those two games, but how different might it have been if Menoncello had been fit and all those sort of things. But for now, just brilliant. I mean, they've grown into the tournament, and the last two games have been fantastic. Defensively, just felt so aggressive. I mean, for a long time, we've lacked that sort of big, powerful, aggressive tacklers. And in those two, we just have it. And Brex as well as a playmaker as well. He just seems to have it all at the moment. And incredibly exciting. And they're just brilliant to watch. I feel like whenever someone runs at Menoncello, I'm sort of on the edge of my seat waiting for him to just nail him back 20 meters, or whenever he's got the ball. Every single time he has the ball, doesn't matter how much space he has, he will always make yards, and that just makes such a huge difference. I mean, we saw that at the weekend. If we can give him first phase ball, he will crash up, he will make yards, and then we score that first try is basically off I'm pretty sure Menoncello making a line break, and then we spin it wide, we switch the play, and that's sort of where the first try comes from. And it's just when you have that front foot ball, you could the backs we have, we are always going to be able to do something. So they're amazing. Love them both.
Mike, in the last couple of years, Brex changed a lot his style of play. If you think how much he improved on his passing, we know him to be a really good defender in general, but now we saw something more every time. More kicks too. Of course, we have to work more on the kicks, but still, he's getting an all-around. He's getting there, like all-around player.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. He's just a really well-rounded player now. He's great defensively. You can see at Benetton they've been trying to get him more at sort of second receiver, sometimes at first receiver. Sort of trusting his judgment in attack. And mate, he's a he's a great player. Like he's a great player. And people who cast their opinions on Brex, like, yeah, you know, he's one of the older players on the team. But he's one of the most experienced, well-rounded, and he has just so much to give. And I think one of the core things that was said after by Quesada and by Quesada in the post match was it's how much the leadership group have stepped up and taken responsibility. And you can see he's one of them, right? So like sometimes it's more than just what you see on the pitch; it's what they give off the pitch as well. So yeah, really well-rounded player, great rugby IQ, one of the best that we have in the team in terms of making decisions and understanding the attack and shutting down their attack, so understanding their attack, analysing, and his chop tackling is just exceptional as well. He's just a good player. Very, very lucky to have him in the team. And yeah, you know, we've been talking about Marcello for God knows how many years. Like he's thereabouts. He needs to improve slightly on his soft skills, and he says that himself. I watched an interview after France, and that's exactly one of the things he said. I need to get better with my soft skills, but he's going to be a world beater if he gets that. You're muted, Otto.
Sorry, Menoncello spoke about like Quesada is pushing his kicking game to step up, and it's interesting also. I think the hands, Menoncello is working a lot on his passing skill, using better his body because he's so strong, but he's getting better and better there, and he can play everywhere now because we saw him playing really well at 14, but then he stepped as a 12, but he goes and he attacks in the white channel really well as a wing, as a 13. So they're gonna be key. And I see a couple of messages from Beneddo on YouTube. Hopefully May gets capped in the summer tour. He is injury prone at the moment because he got a couple of injuries, and we never seen him training with the national team, with the first team. But he seems to be one of those key players for us for the upcoming maybe 10 years. Who knows? Because Menoncello is so young, he can be in 10 years. He's gonna be old, like one year more than Brex now. Thinking that with 2 World Cups on his shoulder is gonna be different because he missed 1. But we have so good to hear. And let me see here. We have Justin. Gloucester fan, Lazio fan, Italy fan. Like it's a copy of
basically
me.
You, yeah.
It's basically me, Justin. Hello, I'm Justin. I'm not Ottavio. He said he was with some players reunion, still hangover, but marveling of those updated IRB rankings because we are in the best position ever, 8th in the world, best ranking, like points in the ranking, better than ever. Even if we arrive 5th and not better like in 2013 in the Six Nation, and that's huge because, guys, we start saying unbeatable for the last 3 games, and it's different energies, different stuff, different feelings. We have to, hopefully we're gonna get used to it, hopefully, but long way from the respect and credibility to stability, to consistency. And for 3 games we were consistent, but we need more and more, and we have to prove every time because we know what people is gonna say. Italy out of the Six Nation.
Yeah, now it's
Playoff.
Wales. Now it's Wales.
Now it's Wales. No?
I tweeted yesterday saying it was quite nice to see the whole relegation promotion conversation and us not actually at part of that. It's someone else for once. It's not us anymore, which was kind of quite ironic. Just before we move on from Menoncello, maybe I don't know what you two think about what he should do, because I'm not saying this on any sort of looking at this purely from a selfish point of view in terms of himself. Do you think there's part of you that thinks maybe he should go on it and see where he could go in terms of at club level. Obviously, it'd be great if he stayed at Benetton for the rest of his career and he could help Benetton become one of the better teams in Europe. But do you think maybe there's a possibility he looks to sort of maybe, I don't know, come to England or maybe go to France or really test himself and be, because he kind of deserves to be, you know, in teams that are winning trophies kind of year on year.
Mike, what do you think about that?
I think he's young, and I think if we're going to push him abroad, potentially in a team that aren't going to look after him, then that could be devastating for his career. I'm looking at like Campagnaro, I'm looking at Minozzi as two prime Italian players who had bundles of potential, very, very young. Campagnaro at Exeter was absolutely cherished, but then when he went to Wasps, he was used as a battering ram, and that's not what he was made for. When he went to Quins, he was used as a third flanker, and he had to jackal everything, and that re-ruptured his ACL. If I was him, I would focus on the team that's going to look after him the most, the team that's going to allow him to develop and play in the manner that's going to best suit the national team, which means he needs to learn how to play make. Whether that's abroad, great, but he needs to. He's so young. It's a risk for him to go away from a team that's developed him so well so far. Like he was a fantastic talent under 20s, like I've been highlighting for many years. But he is a completely different player now, and that is thanks to Benetton and what they've done, investing time, effort, S&C, all of that into him. So if I was him, I would think very carefully about moving away, but that's me. Like, I think, he has the potential to do very, very well elsewhere. But will it get to him? Will he get to the best version of him? And that's what I'm not sure about,
For me, we can wait, but because it's young, but I think I want to see him a full season again. With Benetton, at least one full, without thinking there is the injury workup, just a clean season with the Six Nation, with the November test, nothing else. So that can be is key. I think his contract is still because Beneddo was asking, he signed a new contract. I think 2026. Like the majority of the biggest player now, the project player of Italy, let's say, they have all 2026, 2027, and stuff like that. Wow, Wesley, love him. Paolo needs to play his way back into contention to get the problem to have. Okay, we're gonna arrive there to Odogu fit, because we are talking today about a little bit of depth of our squad, but Marcello can be the 12, the 13 we want to see, depending how Bortram is gonna use it, and so.
I agree for what it's worth on Marcello. I just think that given his age and how well he's played, it's natural that big clubs are going to look at him and think, what can we do to get him here? Because that's what happens in all sport. Players at that young age with the potential of having another 10, 11 years ahead of them, that's when they're most valuable, and that's when clubs want to bring them in. So I'm just thinking about what pressure will come on him. But I agree. I think, if he's still got 2 years in his contract to Benetton, there's no reason he couldn't play that out and then see where he is at that point. But I just think because he's so good that there's going to be big interest.
Yeah, I think that's a fair comment. I also just want to sort of highlight Garbisi at second year Montpellier, where he played centre. That didn't help us at all. That didn't help his development at all. Although actually you could argue his defense was pretty good beforehand, but it was definitely better after. So like there has to be an alignment. So regardless where he goes, there needs to be some absolute explicits written into the contract that he's going to be looked after and he's going to be able to develop. Yeah, like the federation check up, and there's like some sort of the federation need to protect their investment as well. They've paid for him from the age of age grade, getting him through age grade, all of the development there as well. it's just right for them to look after their investment as well, you know.
So of course I'm gonna read this message because we are on Spotify and every platform, audio platform. So Samuele, one of our friend in the chat, in the WhatsApp chat too, said Menoncello in top 14 and give space to Drago. This is another wonderful player. That's the point, right? About some players, as I was joking usually about Albornoz should move so we can see Marin playing 10. Menoncello can move, so we're gonna see another 12 coming in. But let's see, because hey guys, I'm almost like forgetting about next year Benetton as Lainag, as Odogu, Gallagher coming in, a lot of new players. Like the level of the team is going up.
Sorry, real quick, can you just highlight that comment from our boy?
Here we go.
Seb.
The wall breaker.
Hey
Mr.
man,
Seb.
it's a football one. It counts.
Hey.
I wore two. I was out all day like Mike. I wore my that retro 2001 that I got gifted, the number 3 one from the Italian A team that I got. I wore that all day. Then went to the Curry House, wore my 2019 Rugby World Cup top to the Curry House, and then yesterday I wore that other odd one I have. So I've exhausted all my tops this weekend. So now I'm left with just the Calcio one. Sorry,
just
Seb.
the Calcio one.
Yeah. So just to piggyback on that excuse, 10+ hours in the Teddington Arms, or you don't just wash that away, my friend. That's
yeah. The point.
That
It sticks on, right?
I tried
sticky.
bleaching myself and still can't get away from that.
I want to be a priest today, like a friar, all in brown. I'm gonna be a Trappist beer maker in some way. Go grab some cash from Menoncello, but he goes to playing, starting wherever he goes. Anyway, let's talk about Seb, because he's here. Seb play his work in the team, because we know what he's able to. He groups defenders with every carry in the field, and that it's key, because when we saw Seb coming back in the team, we have that kind of nastiness, like a little bit of a cunt, like he said, not to quote him in some way, but something really, really good pushing hard. And in that way, we have also the rest of our backs working differently in the field. We saw Cannone in the open space playing Vincent, of course, guys. Vincent, the guy with the motorbike, the delivery man.
Beep, beep.
Wait,
and of
I
course,
want to see another meme from that, please.
Higgling and passing everything. Sorry, Mike.
I want to see another meme of that. Thank you very much. I was so disappointed that I didn't see a Vincent delivering a fantastic run again.
Man, we should have made another one.
Seba makes space, or he breaks face. That's just goes in. He's going to destroy someone, or he'll make space for someone else to look good. So, we need someone like that on the pitch at all time. And I think we saw how tough it is for us to find a replacement for a player like that whilst Seba was obviously unfortunately injured. But yeah, like you can see how much it meant to all the boys, and obviously we messaged Seba after the game, and you know it was almost like a cathartic release for a lot of the players. You know, it was something where the second game syndrome, or whatever you want to call it, like it's clearly something that's made.
Technically, I mean, we were on the back of. I mean, I know it was a draw, but you got to think that was so nearly a win. Should have been a win, really, shouldn't it? And it's almost like we did what we did against France, and then it was like, well, can we back it up against Scotland? Yep. And then it was like, well, okay, can they back it up again? And it's like, yep. So it's actually, you know, twice we've shown at the end of this tournament that actually we can back it up. Even England was a losing bonus point. So it's like there's only one game in this whole tournament that really got away from us, and that's never really.
I mean, the interview with the players was that they felt like they didn't feel satisfied by France, right? Whereas I think they probably would have got a lot of satisfaction out of beating Scotland, because it was well deserved, and they beat Scotland, right? No controversies. But I think like after having that satisfaction and like being able to put your head up a little bit and say, right, okay, like everything that we're working hard on is coming into fruition. Sometimes it's easy to sort of get lost, and it's good that they kept their feet really firmly on the ground. That for me, because like I said, the boys are probably, when we next get one of the boys on, they'll probably corroborate, but they definitely wanted more after the France game. Whereas like after winning, sometimes you can sort of be satisfied with a win, but they weren't, and that was really nice to see.
Yeah, got to shout out the skipper as well, though. I think we've talked about we talked about Marcello, we talked about Brex, but the amount of tackles. I think that I see that's the most tackles in Six Nations tournament ever.
Correct.
We were speaking with Niels in the WhatsApp. Maybe there was Tau Fifenua, but Tau Fifenua did 107 in the whole games from as a sub. So it's not that. So it's Lamaro, yes, the new record tackled in one edition of the Six Nation, and that's great because he won the stats already 2 years ago. He was fourth 3 years ago, so he was always there, no, leading by example the way he played, and he played also number 8 4 years ago, something like that. He didn't play as a 7, so something different. And yes, Benedro, 103 tackles this time. Was crazy good. Sometimes we used to see other players there, right? Willems, you see somebody
could have
else,
got at least 150,
right? Next stop 150.
Lazy. Good on him. He leads by example, and that's what a young team need, right? They need someone who isn't going to make excuses and just works hard. Maybe a couple of lessons to learn for a couple of people that we beat as well. Don't make excuses. Take your medicine where you have it. Move forward.
One thing to say, of course, there is everything was great. We saw some individual skills, but let's talk about Linag. Come on. Second game. So the first game was good. Yes, he scored, but he can do better. How you feel about this game from Luis Linag?
Got much
better?
Yeah, I just you do look at him and you do. I don't think we always saw the best and as much of him at Quins as I think that's played a part in why he wanted to change, because he was obviously not getting regular first team rugby. But he does look like the sort of player he has. He has all aspects of the game. I think he can kick the ball. He's big. He's strong. He's agile. I just think he's such a well-rounded player, and I thought we saw a lot more of him as an all-round player at the weekend than we did against Scotland, when he obviously scored a good try. But we know he can finish. We've seen that before. We've seen that at Quins. Even when he's not playing regularly, he's a great finisher. But he's got everything that you want from a winger. So I think if he gets consistent game time, and obviously we've seen that he's played 2-1-2 in an Italian shirt. That's pretty decent going. But yeah, he's just got everything, and I just think all he needs is just consistency. I think if he can just get games under his belt and be playing sort of week in, week out, then he's only going to improve, because I don't honestly see a weakness to his game, to be honest.
So Linag was the player with most dominant tackles this weekend for Italy, thanks to the box kick chase and pressure on the receiver, which was great to see working well. The player on the ground, let's say with the feet on the ground and not in the air, going as meshing with Seb. That was there a couple of times. He was around it. I think he got me 2 dominant tackles in occasion like that. One with Ioane was huge. A charge was huge. But Mike, as a Queen fan,
yeah. Yeah, I'm happy to talk about Lionel. I think we learnt a lot more about him at test level this week. I think what happened was I certainly, and I know I wasn't alone on this. I certainly had a couple of questions about how he would react with sort of like quite a heavy aerial dominant game, because we knew what was going to come from Wales, and yeah, he answered it. And for what it's worth, he had the better of the wing. Like he owned that wing. So yeah, very very lucky. Obviously, he's got a lot of room for growth as well, which is great. He's very young, and I think Benetton are properly going to look after him next year, which is going to be quite exciting as well to see, because I think he fits into Bortolami's style of play quite nicely as well, especially because Bortolami's got quite an anglicised sort of game plan with kicking just inside our half and stuff, and try and play in the right areas. And I think it's he's going to get a lot out of that, and that's stuff that he can take to the national team. So yeah, really really looking forward to seeing what this next year or two have in stock for him.
Guys, let's stop for a second and we're gonna start again.
Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Drop us a follow on X, former Twitter, and follow us on Instagram and TikTok. You can listen for Fratelli D Rugby podcast on Spotify and every other platforms. We also have a group chat on WhatsApp. So message us to join the family.
And here we go again after this skit in the middle.
Nice.
Guys, we can talk about every single player in the field during the campaign, but let's focus on a couple of things on this game. Unsung hero of the week of Italy Wales. Who was your unsung hero? The player that worked but nobody's speaking about, but he did a key work in this team.
I'll go first. I think for me, and generally maybe through Italy's tournament as well, Federico Ruzza. I think he's. Did I see that he had the most line-out takes in the tournament?
Ruzza, I
something
think
along those lines.
But can be it's always key for us, Ruzza.
Yeah,
yes. And a lot of work off the ball too. Huh?
He does that. He gets through a lot of tackles. He carries a lot. He's tall, but he's not sort of your typical massive second row like some of the players in the tournament. He just gets through his work, always 100%. Same again at the weekend. Like our line out to start the tournament was a bit ropey, and maybe coming into the Welsh game, line out was still a bit of a problem. But through my slightly drunken viewpoint on Saturday, it looked like our line out was probably the best it's been in that game compared to the rest of the tournament. It still wasn't perfect, but it looked a lot better. We were getting a lot of clean ball, which obviously helps. So yeah, I think at the weekend, Federico Ruzza he did a lot of work, and because so many other players were getting so many mentions, I think for me, Ruzza gets the Unsung Hero award from me.
Mike.
Yeah. Andy put who I think was the unsung hero. Nicodera was everywhere. He was everywhere. At the breakdown, he was an absolute pest. I think I saw a stat that we had the quickest attacking ruck reload, as in like our forwards were there like first at every, and he was pretty much leading that. Like he was hitting every sort of attacking ruck that he possibly could. He was just a nightmare. He was a nightmare, and he works so hard. He's a busy player. Love busy players. Yeah. I think Nicodera has been exceptional all tournament, and if the rumors are true and he's France bound, that's a big loss, big loss for Benetton, and it's going to be interesting to see where they're going to try and plug that hole, because if he's going, and the rumors of maybe Lucchesi also going,
you have to rebuild the number 2 jersey. Let's say.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a bad problem to have if we manage to fill that with Italian players. But
rumors
big
were
hole.
Zarantonello, so one of them from the top 14 was one of the name. The other one was Ricky Riccitelli, which cannot be Italian qualified. I mean, he has Italian heritage, but doesn't qualify for to play for Italy. And then let's see if there is other players coming in, others coming out. Who knows how will be there? But yes, Nicodre is going back to be coached by Gassard, so because he knows him. And man, you used Ruzza, used Nicotera. Pretty hard to choose now, because I'm agree with both of them. So
I like Samuel one as well. If you haven't seen Samuel's comment, I think he has a shout as well. I didn't even think of him.
Well, Mr. Ross, yes, can be one of them, but I'm going with Zilocchi, because I like the way when he enters in the field now. We were hoping to see him playing good rugby after 1 year of injuries at London Irish. We never seen him playing in the Premiership, which sucks. Now he's back at Benetton. I saw him like in progress during the season, but he was ready, and it's a little bit naughty him too, the way you take all smash people going on the knees, man. Oof.
He's got a bit of C about him, hasn't he? Like he comes on the field and he
The
looks
white
like he's
boy.
ready. Yeah, he looks like he's
we
ready to rip someone's face off, doesn't he?
We've got a lot of that. Seems to be like
Starting to seep in.
growing within the squad, is that there's that element of dog and scrap and aggression, which I don't think we've ever had too much of. But I think what I've also seen is like when I see photos of the lads. I mean, this is gonna sound weird probably, but like when you see photos of the lads in the changing room after the game or whatever, so many of them are ripped. Like they are big, strong lads. But none of them are carrying loads of weight. There's no fat lumps in there. They are all athletes, and they all look super, super fit. And that seems to be everything seems to be based on, this like aggression, intensity. But we've got athletes from number 1 to number 15. There's just athletes across the board.
Different shape, size, but they're all tough guys. Looks like, right?
Yeah. I think Gatland also mentioned how impressed he was with how fit we are as a team. That was something that he brought up. Might have been Leo that asked the question.
Gatland's just trying to get himself sacked. So he's saying whatever's necessary to get him sacked.
Yeah.
It might be scary to be tackled by Zilocchi anyways at Samuel, which is pretty true too.
Yeah. I think just for the record, and I'll ask him after, but I think it was Leo that asked that question at the press conference. What he said, what were your thoughts about Italy? And Gatland was just sycophantic. Loved us. Fantastic.
Silver mentioned Michele Colosio, the new head of performance, strength and conditioning for Italy. The new change as an Italian that is coming back from the years in France, so it's new to the team. The head of GPS, all that kind of performance is they are still the same, but the conditioning changed completely, seems, and it's fit. They know how to work, and the way we're working now, the way we are attacking and defending, which is probably the key of the new Italy. Maybe we're comfortable in defense, even when we scramble, we are ready. We are getting there with the plan. The defensive plan is working. And of course, Guzan is leaving, but you see already a switch of mentality in defense, which is the one that probably we're gonna keep for the next years with Quesada. Wondering who's gonna be the next coach. If it's gonna be an attacking coach, defensive coach, no coaches. I think that too. Sometimes I think that too. Maybe some specific areas, but maybe not defense. Maybe Quesada is gonna be defense. I always think about that.
I did just quickly. I did message Marius yesterday and just sort of said thank you and all that jazz. And you can see how much like Italy mean to him. And it was really quite fitting that the boys managed to put out a fantastic defensive display to win a game or win a couple of games, and it's just like paying homage and actually seeing him off for all the hard work and everything that he's put in, when he was playing at Benetton, before he became a coach at Benetton, and then how much he's given to the movement. So I just wanted to sort of say again, like I said it behind closed doors, but for everyone that's listening, I think we owe a lot to Marius Goosen as
100%.
Italian fans. So it's going to be sad to see that the old boy go, but he's going to kill it wherever he goes, and hopefully, he's left us in a better place. So good on him.
He would have been secretly pissed off at the last 2 tries there, wouldn't he? I bet you he was probably punching the desk. But like you said, it was after that Scotland game when the final whistle blew, and he just sort of that big let off, which was
Right.
You saw exactly how much it meant. So yeah, big kudos to Marius. Wish him all the best. Thank you very much.
So, and he was busy watching Chinner, but that vital covering tackles from the line, that was
Vincent, wasn't it?
Vincent, and then Zuliani juggled the ball,
Yeah.
and we got the ball back. So the 2 helmets work together, sky blue and white.
2 helmets.
Yeah.
Helmets mean something different here, mate.
Yeah.
How you call the headgear? How you call
That basically means dickhead.
Caschetto.
The 2
Yeah,
dickheads is what
The
you
two-
just said. 2 dickheads.
The 2 helmets.
Otto did not mean that.
No,
He meant something else, I think.
Scusate. Ma che- Sorry, how you call the one that you put on? Il caschetto.
Scrum cap. Scrum
Cap. Madonna. So why is not called? So tell me this: why Biel Barry wear a scrum cap when he's not a scrummager?
You never know when he has to jump into the fold at
Like
second
Johnny
row.
May, without knowing where
Yeah.
to put his arms, something like that.
Bless Johnny May. He gave it a go.
He loves North Korea, right? So
Yeah,
it was fun.
it was.
Hard question from Samuele. What do you think about the words of David Jenkins? I'm going first. I think he's
Go.
the captain, so he has to be tough and rough, but he has to show respect. So he should have been a little bit different. And then behind the closed doors, you can say whatever you want to your team, but just show a little bit more respect, my dear.
He's so young now. He's so
Don't
young.
be an helmet, right? Is it like
Yeah,
that?
Don't be a
Correct.
helmet. Nice.
That's the correct way to use it. We're gonna have to tell Vincent that Otto called him a dickhead.
I will. I'm gonna say, what I said,
I'll drop a message.
my dear. Yeah, message him. Let's cut this, clip it.
Yeah. 2 helmets.
I was going to say, I think he needs to. I think you can say what he wants. He has to eat his medicine now.
Yeah.
So like now, especially if what Lamaro was saying is true, regardless of like just the disrespect of the words, they're going to Rome next year. So now is an opportunity for us to, not say words. We're in a position where we need to improve as a team, and next year we need to be ready. So just kick on. It's done, and hopefully the boys take it in a more positive manner.
No pizza for the Welsh in Rome next year.
Yeah. Oh, I can tell you why Brex wears a scrum cap, just because Claudio's brought it up. Brex has a scrum cap because if
As a pit bull.
Pretty much, like he can walk off like the pitch, right? And as soon as he has it off, he's like off like tackle mode. But as soon as he has scrum cap, they're like having to chain him. They're like, no, and then they release him like the hound and just.
Is it this, right? One of our stickers in the WhatsApp chat.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And then when he takes the scrum cap off, he just chops pints as well.
Yeah. He's an Argentinian doggo, so not be beaten on his ears. He has to wear one.
I hope someone called Buffalo.
A little bit more deep question after helmets, no helmets, pads. We are all a bit gutted when Crowley got the boot. What do you think Quesada's brought to the team? Good question. I go first.
You go.
I think he brought the positivity into the team, different approach, a mental approach, maybe social approach to the team, rebuilding after the collapsing last two games, knowing the potential of the team that been shown before by like baptized, as I said the other day, like first blood with Franco Smith, a lot of players going through Crowley in 2 years, create bringing respect and credibility, and now is the right moment all together to move forward, moving ahead, because the players are more experienced, they're learning, the franchise are getting better, so a lot of stuff together bringing him to be the right man at the right moment. And we were thinking before the Six Nation, this was the Six Nation, actually before the World Cup, saying this is the Six Nation we have to point, because here we can do damages. And that's probably because we were gathered when Crowley left, because we said let's let them do the work for the next Six Nation, because we are thinking something can happen there. But at the end, good for us at the end, because results are there, but performance are there, I think. So,
yeah, I think
more
it's
mature.
worth. I agree with 100% you said, and actually I was just going to quote Quesada himself, right? He in the post match he said what he managed to do. He said a lot of the recognition shouldn't go to him, which actually, first of all, humility, big plus, love that, rugby values, good man. But secondly, he said he managed to bring out the Italian in the Italian players. He managed to help evolve this team, like the structure, the way they play, and make it more Italian, more suited to the players. And this is the Italian style. Obviously, he himself knows that the DNA was sort of there, but now he's brought it out. And I think, I'm really impressed with what he's been able to do in such a short period of time. I think the foundations were there. And I think what he was able to do in the short period of time deserves recognition. I'm not one of these ridiculous people that just think because he speaks Italian that he's this messiah, because it's ridiculous, right? But being able to make something in such a short period of time and improve something in such a short period of time, that's what deserves recognition, and that's what he should be recognized for. So good on him, and long may it continue.
Yep.
March.
I think we have to think what we were saying before the Six Nations, when the Crowley news came out, and then after the World Cup, when I think we were all a little bit concerned as to what the Six Nations would look like, given we'd come off the back of a really disappointing end to the World Cup, and Quesada was going to have a matter of a couple of weeks with the squad, get to know the players on a personal level as well as a rugby level, the coaches, everything that goes with that, and to then try and prepare a team for a Six Nations campaign. We were all concerned at what that might look like, and that this Six Nations might be a little bit of a sort of have to see how it goes and sort of move on from there. And let's just use this as a platform. But Italy have far exceeded, I think, all of our expectations this tournament. I don't think any of us really thought that we'd come out of it with, should have been 3 wins, but we're looking at 2 wins and a draw, which, this has been our best ever Six Nations tournament. So to do that with the amount of time he had, playing the way we have, and seemingly, we don't know what has been directly him or what's been the coaches or other changes that have gone on and things happening within the team and personnel changes, etc. But it seems to be that he's bought into it. He looks like he's taken what Crowley had built, harnessed it, and just made subtle changes, play the game in the right place. Don't be sort of playing from everywhere on the pitch. Let's be a little bit more pragmatic. And it just seems to have all really, really worked. So you have to just sit back and say that he's done a fantastic job. To be where we are, I think he's probably far ahead of what he thought he would be after this campaign. So, yeah, deserves a huge amount of credit. And like you said, long may it continue, and hopefully it'll just improve from here.
Yeah, 100% agree with that.
So now we have 3 big games in the Pacific for the summer. Speaking about Italian team, because we're gonna have Japan, Tonga, and Samoa. I can say sadly not Fiji, because I was waiting for a game against Fiji. Would be
So what's confirmed? Sorry, I missed what you said.
Japan is already confirmed. It's gonna be the 3 of them in July, but we don't know the exact date. It can be like the 13th or 14th of July. The first, the second one, the first maybe is gonna be the 6 or 7. I think the only one already scheduled is Japan, because came out on the Japan I think website already. So
that's the only one that's properly confirmed.
right, so we're gonna have these three games. Is gonna be really cool to see how and the players, because guys, I think we were chatting before about the team, how many good players we have, the depth of the Italian team, and we have some players that we want to see in the Italy jersey, and maybe the summer is gonna be key for this kind of player to step up to play, because maybe the strategy is gonna be there a little bit like Galtier, no?
As long as we
Hopefully.
beat Eddie Jones, hey, as long as we beat Eddie Jones, right? That's it.
Everything is good.
Yeah.
Eddie Jones, the friends of Treviso, the friend of Ongaro's friend. Gli avversari, 5 of 6 of July, Samoa against Italy, Tonga against Italy, probably the 12th, and the 21st, Japan, Italy. So
Make some good ones for us. Good ones for us. Like
I like it.
Yeah, happy with that. And I think as well, like Samoa are no slouches as well. Like there's some real tests. We saw what they can do at the World Cup. These are going to be tough tests for us. And let's see where our boys are at. That'd be interesting to see.
I guess the big test will be. I mean, it'd be unfair to say that all those teams bring Samoa and Tonga are just physicality, but ultimately, that's what they do have in abundance, isn't it? They have, physicality
and
through the
playing
roof.
there.
Big, huge players playing at home in front of really passionate supporters in a what will be a totally new environment for a lot of those Italian players, and for a lot of European players going to play, which is brilliant for those countries as well, to be able to have home, games against tier 1 nations at home as well. It's brilliant for them. But I think it's really good. I mean, there'd be that. I think people will be like, "Oh God, Italy have come on so far. Let's see how they get on against New Zealand, France, and South Africa and Australia all over again." And I feel like that would just. We need to just. I think we still need to remain grounded and know that this is still a young side. We still need them. We've got players that we want to blood through, and this literally offers us. We've had a brilliant Six Nations. Now we can go to that summer tour and bring some new players in, try some things out, and hopefully still be in a position where we kind of almost keep this winning momentum going. So it kind of feels like the perfect sort of summer for us.
Yeah. Also, I think I don't know, but I'd love to know what the temperatures are going to be like, and there's going to be a different type of physicality, like you said. Yeah, like the boys obviously playing. One area that we've traditionally suffered on is like teams that can play a power game against us. Like that's where we've traditionally sort of struggled. We get depleted, and then they just run right in the last sort of 20 minutes. These are going to be tough teams and really tough conditions, and it's going to be really interesting to see sort of how these boys are mentally after it's fatigued and it's 30 odd degrees humid, and like you get in fucked by everyone, like just absolutely like tackled by anything, and Jesus, like it's gonna be an interesting like character test for them, I think.
And then of course we have the fall, the autumn is gonna be Argentina, Georgia, and All Blacks.
Redemption,
revenge, as I said on a couple of Facebook group. Revenge. Yes, we have something to do, and we're gonna play in Italy. We don't know where, but I'm gonna try to go at least one of them. I don't want to go watch Italy All Blacks. No. I want to go watch Italy Georgia this time. Hopefully, it's gonna be.
I'm in the market, boys. I'm in the market. March.
Let's go.
Yeah,
November. There's nothing in November, so
we've got to try. We've got to try, and I think I'll be in a better position in November to be able to do something like that. Put it that way.
Nice.
So,
Right.
Or March, Italy Wales next year. The first game of the new Six Nations is gonna. Next Six Nations is gonna be Italy Wales in home.
yeah.
Wow, that is another key
I
game.
think me and my family, we've all, because my family is split between Italian and
That's the
Welsh.
point, right?
It's the game we don't really like all that much. So I think next Six Nations we have put Italy France in the diary because we've got friends in France as well that might come over to do that. So I think hoping that we'll do Rome for Italy France next year.
Interesting.
Well, boys, we are almost 1 hour in. I think we can wrap it up saying, Forza Italia, let's go. And one homework for you guys for next week. You have to tell me, you have to think. So maybe we're going to chat about it so I can do some pictures. What kind of sport some of our players, Italian players, should have been in like a pro, like Olympics, instead of playing rugby? I see that player being a nice, I don't know, javelin thrower, a better pool player, jumper, something like that for the next week. So think about that. It's going to be funny to see a couple of Photoshop stuff. I already have a couple waiting for me.
Ottavio, I can see the excitement in your eyes at doing
Yes.
some Photoshop.
I trash pictures with Photoshop.
Speaking of Photoshop, I can't wait for the Vincent one, mate. That's especially charging down. Was it Thomas Williams or was it Webb on the second half?
Man, he did a
It
couple.
was Williams, wasn't it? Like just charging him down on the Vespa. That is
ready. Like Federico said in the chat, the Vespa.
He is.
Yes.
He is. He's a 250cc though. He's not 50cc. He's 250. Give him some props.
Il Vespone. So the Vespone is 250.
Yeah, that's what he
Ferrari
is.
heavyweight boxer. Like which Ferrari? Jack Ferrari or Simone Ferrari?
Jack would be not wrestling.
Like a Rey Mysterio.
Like judo.
Judo, yeah, I think it.
Ferrari. Jack would be like judo.
Judo.
You know your
they're
judo
gonna
well.
He looks Georgian. They're gonna say to
I feel
him.
like we could have a lot of judo actually. Probably quite a few
Simone
players that
Ferrari
we could
heavyweight.
Hey, have you guys before we go? Have you guys seen that? It's ancient now, but have you seen that succulent Chinese meal? That one there. The thing
yes,
is that,
I have.
you know your judo well. It just strikes me as
Okay. Can you send it in the WhatsApp chat of
Yes.
Fratelli Rugby, please?
Yes. I watch it daily.
Watch it daily. Wow, that's amazing.
It's my motivation, my morning motivation.
Nice.
What a tournament, guys! Well
what
done,
a
us.
tournament.
Well done, us as well. We've done very well.
6 crazy months, a little bit more, thinking where we've been against France and where are we now. So a lot of positivity, and of course, it's time to cheer Zebre and Benetton Treviso for everything. Challenge Cup and let's see, Odogu.
Zebre have got Leinster.
That's a tough one.
Yeah,
great
That's
start.
Extra tough.
Welcome back to the URC.
Welcome back. Smash the face. Well, let's see what they're gonna do, because I saw Nikolai back in training, which is interesting. And let's
guys,
see.
It just again, shameless plug. If you guys who are listening and have been following us, if you don't mind giving us a like and maybe dropping us a share on a WhatsApp, rugby group or any community groups that you're in. But yeah, listen, really, it's been, like March said, it's been a heck of a journey over the past sort of almost year. A succulent Chinese meal. Yeah.
What is this? I think something like emotional damage. That I think more than that.
Mate, this will blow your mind. It'll blow your mind, my friend.
Okay.
But yeah, it's been a heck of a ride, like the past year.
Yeah.
And, it feels like it's long overdue, especially after you, March. We got those photos. My friend Ellis took those photos of you with your hands and
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, in your hands and your heart, you know, just
Against New
like
Zealand. Yeah.
The soul
So
left
left him,
the
yeah,
room.
left him, and lights were
Yeah.
flickering, and it was like the exorcism.
Did
But
not think 6 months on we'd be in this position now.
yeah. So yeah, you're right. Like, well done you, well done
The
Otta.
boys as well. Big
Yeah.
big congrats to them.
Yeah,
Big
they've been
big
awesome.
congrats. Awesome stuff.
So, last thing, of course, we're gonna close this, and I think I'm gonna show a couple of videos on Fratelli di Rugby YouTube and probably on Twitter too about the game. Some live analysis with Longo match in English. So if you want to join us, come on the YouTube channel and follow us and put a like on the X page. X page. And that's it. That's it, boys. See you next weekend. Forza Italia. Let's go Benetton. Let's go Zebre. Ciao, everybody.
Ciao, raga.